Welcome back, everyone, to Fine Music. This is episode 196. That's right, we're getting dangerously close to that round number, but we won't reach there today, so my calculations insist. And that means we have our leadoff man, Fred, going to take us to somewhere we haven't been lately, right?
In the past, I've talked about the group dB's and also some other albums that Chris Stamey had recorded. Today, I'd like to look at his solo career. He's got 35 years of music behind him, and he's considered the alternative figure of power pop rock. I would say he's up there with Marshall Crenshaw and putting out really strong pieces of power pop music, capturing that 60s and early 70s sound of some groups like Big Star and others. In 2013, he came out with an album, Lovesick. And it's a joyful album of recollections with strong strings and guitar work and harmonies. His arrangements of voice and music sometimes is compared to Brian Wilson because he does it very well. And there's a song called Room Over a Bookstore that starts out with a Leonard Cohen reference. It starts out saying, "It's a Leonard Cohen morning." The songs are snappy enough to capture your ear. In 2015, Euphoria came out. It's considered one of his best albums. I really enjoy it a lot. It rocks out right from the very beginning with a song called Universe-Sized Arms. The melodies are strong and play a major part in this recording. He captures that early 60s British invasion sound and the power pop sound of the 70s, early 70s. There's a hard rocking song called When the Fever Breaks. And he's at the top of his game with this album. The title tune is a reference to the Beatles' Revolver album. And the album lives up to its title, Euphoria. In 2019, he kind of changed direction. He came out with an album called New Songs for the 20th Century. It's an unpredictable change. It's a classy album that plays tribute to some of the composers of the American Songbook. They're all new songs that don't completely ape the sound of the 40s and 30s, but captures it in an ambitious way. And some of the players on this album is Bill Frisell, Bradford Marsalis, Nels Cline. They all play well and handle the arrangements quite well. It's really an ambitious piece of work. And someone wrote that it's an album to sit down and have a martini with. And then came an album out in 2020 inspired by cool jazz. It's kind of smoky, jazzy blues. Again, another totally different album from him, but it also features various lead singers. It has enough for texture and finesse to be believable and entertaining and to be taken seriously. He's added a whole slew of orchestra to it with trumpets, saxophones, flutes, clarinets, and strings. It's called The Brand New Shade of Blue. And it came out in 2020. But I would highly recommend his rock and roll albums, his power pop rock albums, Euphoria and Lovesick Blues. Those are my two favorite.
Cool. Okay. So what was the name of the jazz album? So like going back to the 20s and 30s?
Well, he's got the album, let's see. The tribute sort of to the American songbooks called New Songs for the 20th Century.
Okay.
And then the other one is called A Brand New Shade of Blue.
Okay.
That was good underlining. Our viewers will appreciate
voice,
that.
And he's got a really good style. And, you know, the one regret I have is he played in New York City with Alice Chilton. He was in the band with Alice Chilton. They never got recorded. And Chilton was in his alcoholic phase and didn't care about stardom anyway anymore. So it's a shame, though, that the two of them never recorded an album together.
Yeah.
And that's the Power Pop Report for today from Fred Whitlock. Thank you, sir.